Section 1. Introduction. The birth of a revolution and why it matters. Let's be absolutely clear from the start. The invention of the car is the single most important thing that has ever happened to humanity. Yes, I know all about penicillin, the internet, sliced bread, but none of those things gave us the freedom to simply get up and go, to escape, to put your foot down, leave your troubles, leave your boss, leave your mother-in-law in a cloud of dust and glorious noise. The history of the car isn't just a dusty tale of cogs and pistons, it's the story of us. We won our independence from the tyranny of geography and from the tyranny of the horse. This won't be a lecture full of dreary dates. Think of this as a high-speed journey, a power slide through genius, madness, and magnificent engineering. It starts in a shed in Germany with a world-changing idea, and ends with silent, self-driving pods that are a bit terrifying. The car changed where we live, how we work, who we fall in love with, how we spend our weekends. It gave us suburbs, motorways, drive-thrus, and the joy of a perfect gear change at dawn. We'll meet heroes, villains, and glorious machines, from spindly contraptions that barely worked to fire-breathing supercars that barely seemed legal. The automobile is drama and excitement, a symbol of wealth, a tool of work, and an object of pure passion. That is a story worth telling, so buckle up. More than a century of innovation in the time it takes to get stuck in London traffic. From Carl Benz's three-wheeled curiosity to the modern hypercar, ambition, speed, and the relentless desire to go a little bit faster. Before the car, your world was tiny. Born, lived, and died within a few miles. Your fastest transport was an animal, one that had to be persuaded not to stop and eat grass every 5 minutes. Then, in the late 1800s, a few mad geniuses, mostly in Germany and in France, started fiddling with internal combustion. They were trying to create a horseless carriage, terrifying, cobbled-together things that coughed, sputtered, and frequently caught fire. Carl Benz's 1886 patent motorwagon, less than 1 horsepower and barely faster than a determined tortoise, became real when his wife Bertha proved it on the first long-distance trip. It worked, but it was noisy, fragile, and scared the life out of everyone and every horse it passed. Daimler and Maybach strapped engines to anything that would stand still, spawning a chaotic explosion of weird and wonderful machines. Not for ordinary people, eye-wateringly expensive toys for the eccentric and the extremely rich. With muddy roads, no petrol stations, and constant breakdowns, early motorists met hostility, stones, and absurd speed limits, even a man with a red flag walking ahead. While Europe handcrafted for aristocrats, a man in Michigan had a different idea, a car for the great multitude. The 1908 Model T, simple, rugged, tall for awful roads, and simple enough for a farmer to fix with a hammer. In 1913, Ford's moving assembly line slashed chassis time from over 12 hours to 93 minutes. Prices plunged, $825 to under $300 by the mid-20s. Any color so long as it's black, because black dried fastest. The car stopped being a luxury and became a tool, liberating rural lives, enabling work, creating the weekend road trip. Over 15 million sold. Ford's impact was biblical, the blueprint for modern manufacturing and the modern consumer. The age of the horse was over, killed by relentless efficiency in Detroit. If everyone could have a car, the next step was making them want a better one. The car got a personality. GM under Alfred P. Sloan pioneered yearly model changes and a ladder of brands. Aspiration made metal. Design suddenly mattered. Integrated lamps, ornate grilles, flowing lines, the age of Art Deco machines. Bugatti, Type 57 Atlantic, Auburn Speedster, Cord 810, not just transport, rolling sculptures, fabulously expensive. Comfort leapt forward, plush seats, closed bodies, glass windows, heaters and radios. V8s, V12s, V16s, smoother power. Synchro mesh arrived, no more clunky double clutching. The car became central to culture, glamour, freedom, modernity. After the war, factories roared back. The 50s were the golden age of American unbridled confidence. Cheap petrol, spectacular excess, chrome, tail fins, glorious gas-guzzling V8s. Jet-age design peaked with the 59 Eldorado, towering fins, vast chrome, wraparound windshields, multi-tone paint, automotive theatre. While America indulged, Europe recovered with small, clever cars. VW Beetle, Fiat 500 and the Mini, Issigonis's transverse marvel, Bel Air, Thunderbird, vast land yachts, and the sci-fi smooth Citroën DS. Thundering muscle or nimble minis, the car sat at the center of culture. Choice had never been greater, but the glorious party of the 50s and 60s couldn't last forever. Ralph Nader's unsafe at any speed shocked the public. Crumple zones and seatbelts entered the conversation. In 1973, OPEC choked supply. Prices spiked. Americans queued for fuel. The dream was over. 7-liter V8s doing 8 miles per gallon looked idiotic. Emissions gear strangled power. The malaise era began. Detroit downsized poorly. Cars were slow, ugly, badly built. A gap Japan exploited ruthlessly. Honda, Toyota, Datsun had perfected small cars. Reliable, fuel-efficient, and astonishingly well-made. For millions, a revelation. The microchip brought electronic fuel injection and engine management. More power, cleaner, and thriftier. Performance returned for the masses. Light, affordable hot hatches with European handling. After winning on reliability, Japan targeted luxury. The LS400 bombshell, S-Class refinement for less. MX-5, 300ZX, NSX, mid-engined precision made usable every day. By the 90s, cars were complex electronic devices. ABS, airbags, traction control, climate, electrics, CDs, even satellite navigation. Driver aids began morphing into autonomy. The car was getting smart. Toyota's 1997 Prius proved hybrids could sell. A compromise, perhaps, but a work of genius. The real revolution, Tesla skipped hybrids for pure electric and made EVs desirable. Model S brought space, a giant screen, and ludicrous acceleration, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, in eerie silence. Suddenly, every legacy maker took EVs seriously. We're in the biggest shift since the assembly line. Governments set ICE end dates. Billions flow into batteries and charging. Batteries are heavy and costly. Charging can be slow. Grids must adapt. But the direction is clear. The roar of the V8 is giving way to the silent whoosh of the motor. The age of combustion is ending. Here we are today. We've gone from a sputtering three-wheeler to silent electric super saloons that out-launch race cars. Cars are rolling supercomputers with more processing power than moon rockets. Batteries will get lighter, cheaper, higher capacity. 10 minutes for hundreds of miles. The electric car becomes the car. A quieter, cleaner world. Though for lovers of sound and fury, a little sadder. The profound change is autonomy. Steering, accelerating, braking for us toward full self-driving. It could eliminate crashes, give back commuting hours, and redesign cities, but it may make us passengers in pods. Perhaps driving becomes a hobby, like riding a horse, because the story of the car is constant change.